Hi everyone, I'm Linda V. Taylor and this is Best of Both Worlds. Thanks for joining me today. We are working on this beautiful Lone Star, and it has embroidery in it, and it just is the perfect touch and all of my favorite colors. So let's get started. Oh, this was such a beautiful quilt that was pieced by my sister Arlene Jones, and I just saw flowers on it, so I decided I'd just do all of these beautiful wildflowers on it, and those are my feathers, my fleathers, and that's spelled F-L-E-A-T-H-E-R-S, because I take a feather and make it really, really fancy, and so then I put it in a flower, so it's a fleather. So I used these beautiful feathers in the corners and the triangles, and I used a thread that matched all the tie-dye that was on my quilt, the tie-dyed fabric. And that I did have that dyed just for me. It's called tie-dye. And I looked at the sashings, and I really wanted these to be beautiful. So what I did was I put several different kinds of fleather sashings up here, and instead of putting the same one together, I just put them together 2 by 2, and I just did 5 on each side. So you can just put that like that, and then take a different one and put it up there together. And so they're all different. Every 2 are different along the inside here and the outside border. Now to change that up a little bit, in between, I did this loop-to-loop, which I use this so much. I love it because it is, it has the polka dots, kind of, a little bit elongated, but it looks like cross-hatching. So it's a really good juxtapose to the flowers. Awesome. So that's all the computerized stuff that I did on this quilt, and all of that could be done freehand. I've done it freehand before, and that's how I got them to get them computerized. And in the very middle, with all of these beautiful roses, I put it was just another one of these in here. It didn't have any of another fleather. It just didn't have any of the outside stuff, because I wanted to do that freehand so that I wouldn't go on top of the roses. Then the rest of the star is all freehand. So let me show you how I did that. And by the way, of course, I stabilized the quilt first by stitching in the ditch around all of these and in between the borders and every single seam that's on here. But I did nothing inside of the star except for the center. I have a lot of diamonds to work with in this wonderful Lone Star. And at the very tip, as you can see in this green area, I have a lot of diamonds I can work with. I actually developed a lot of these patterns for Grandma's gardens that were in a triangular or a diamond shape. And so I just had so much fun, and I wanted one that had an opening in the center so it was easy to choose. I chose one that's more similar to this one, and I just elongated it into a triangle. And I love that the opening that it left. So lots of choices on diamonds if you want to do your Lone Star with a different design in each one of those. Wouldn't that be awesome? I love what happened out here in the tips of these of this Lone Star. That just makes it look so lacy, and also raises this oval up in the tip of the Lone Star. So that was awesome. Then I have a wonderful little embroidered diamond, and I could just leave it, but it just kind of pops out. So I thought I needed something in there, and I wanted it to be simple. So I want to show you what I did. I didn't want to start in the point, so starting here made much more sense. I'm in regulated. I'm just coming around like that. I swung out because I wanted to make it a little larger. Coming out here like this, kind of stylizing the leaf. Coming in here again, over here like that. Stylize the leaf and come back like that. And it just is perfect. Now the embroidered around the star, isn't that beautiful? I'm just so in awe of this quilt. I did, of course, place a fleather right here in the center, and that just rose these up just enough that they will be kind of the center of attention. Then as I come out from the star, it's interesting because this area is different than this area. So what I've done is individually done this area. As you can see, I'm going to come in here and do a teardrop and then come up into these two areas. Then this will be treated as one area. So I'm doing a teardrop, then I'm going to come over, and it's going to be right, I'm using that center, and you could certainly use a pencil to come up to the center there so you knew where you were coming. Over to the center and back. And come right up into the tip with my feathers. And I'm just going to follow that down and follow that down. You could use your ruler to do that. Come up right here and come over and have those meet. Come down to the seam. Come over and meet with that one and come back. Come right over and meet and then finish the feathers in this diamond all the way up. And I'll stop right there. Now I'll show you how I'm going to do this area. So as you come out in the star, these diamonds go different directions. So you have to just designate what you're going to do. Now see, this one I just come over to the seam and back. And over to the seam and back. This part of the star shows up so well. Sometimes I just do a point there where I get to the end. If I do that all the time, then it makes almost another design. I'll come up and meet the other side here, trying to make sure that my feathers just meet so they look very symmetrical. They don't have to though, don't worry about it. This part of the quilt really shows up where you have the feathers. I'm doing this one-handed, so I'm trying to be very careful when I retrace. And I'll come up to a point there and then come back down. That's going to be absolutely lovely in that area. One of the things that you want to do, if you can, is to think ahead a little bit to see how much you can do without stopping and starting. And I think I can accomplish that quite well here, so you can see and get an idea of what you can do. Even though I'm going to do something different in this area than I do in this area. Now these little wildflowers aren't going to show up very much as far as the quilting, so I wanted to do something simple, but they had to be quilted. And then I do want to design in this beautiful tie-dyed sateen. And by the way, the thread that I'm using on this one is a YLI, and it was dyed to match this sateen actually. So I'm going to do like a half a heart. It sort of makes a twist, so I'm going to do half of a heart and then come over. Half of a heart and then come over. Half of a heart and go to the seam. Half of a heart and come back in. Now I'm only doing the bottom part. Half of a heart and come over here. Now while I'm here, I can actually come all the way over. And this time I'm not going to do the half heart. I almost started that, but I think I can make that into just coming over like this, over like this, just doing the continuous line, and then over here, and then I'm going to put a curl in the middle of it. Oh, so cute. Okay, so then I'm back to my half heart here, and my half heart here, and then half a circle, not quite half a circle, just that curve. And over here you have to keep track of what you're doing. It sure helps to be in regulated here so you can stop and think. Okay, and then a half of a heart, twist over, half of a heart, twist over, continuous curve, continuous curve, continuous curve, and then my curl. Just talk to yourself, it really helps. Keep track of where you are. And then half of a heart here, and half of a heart here, here, here. Now all I have to do is go back with my half a hearts, half of a heart up here, half. I have to think half heart because it just swings out and then goes back in. Swings out and then goes back in. Swings out and goes back in. Like that. And you can see how fast you can get this entire area finished. There we go, and that's right where we started. And we completed all of that. And I could have done that whole thing in one thing, but I left that so that you could see what I was doing. I love this quilt. I love being able to show you the finished product. This quilt is so amazing. The beautiful embroidery in the middle and then continuing on the outside. And then you can see how the feather designs inside here just worked to our benefit. It's just an amazing quilt. Can't wait to put it on my wall. Thanks for watching. See you next time.